Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here today with another feeding frenzy for the Master Prosperity. I'm sorry, the 40-day prosperity. And we're on day 9.
Are you sure you know where we're at?
I had a few things running through my head in the moment, okay?
Okay. Number 9. When I am aware of the God self within me as my total fulfillment, I am totally fulfilled.
Isn't that a beautiful sentence?
It is. It is. And one that becomes more true for me all the time.
So stop and let's just focus on that one.
When I am aware of the God self within me as my total fulfillment, I am totally fulfilled. What does that say to you? What does it mean to you?
That says to me, once I find God here within me, then that's what's there.
That's all you need.
That is literally who I am.
Good stuff.
When I quit looking at myself as the wave, then I become the ocean. I peel away my limitations, and I become all of those possibilities. All of God.
Wow.
That's why it's such a beautiful statement to me. Once I look at that, once I know that, then I automatically shift my perspective.
Wow.
From lack to total abundance.
I am now aware of this.
Guess well if you're done with that. It was some profound stuff there. You know?
Very. A little too profound.
It almost sounded scripted.
Right over my head.
I'll let you rewind it.
I am now aware of this truth. I have found the secret of life. And I relax in the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life.
Thank God. If I had to keep that key wound, you know.
I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation of that creative energy, which is continuously, easily, and effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. I am now aware, I am now in the flow. You get longer and longer.
They do.
So are you aware of this truth, that you are totally fulfilled because of your awareness of the God self within?
I am aware of that truth. When? I'm focused on it. Seriously. When I allow other things in and I'm not thinking about it, then I lose it.
Right. All the more reason for us to do this on a daily basis, I think.
That's why I've got to practice it on a daily basis. Otherwise I lose it.
Don't want to.
I let other little bitty things in on it, and then I lose that focus.
I have found the secret of life. Have you? Have you? Do you feel like you found the secret
I really
of life?
do. I
What
didn't,
is that secret?
but I do. That God is within. Once I found my source, you know, once you find the source
and trust it.
and trust it.
I'm not fussing. I'm just
I
saying.
know.
It's more than just becoming aware of it, in my opinion. He keeps saying all you got to do is be aware. I think it's more than that. We have to learn to trust it. And
Good
not
point.
just be, okay, yeah, I know God's within. Okay, let's go. You know, that doesn't work for me. It's more than just being aware.
And you got to be willing to use that
Understanding and
source too.
Right, and trust it. I mean, for years I knew that God was my source, or believed that, or thought I believed it, but I didn't believe it here enough to jump in the wheelbarrow.
Did you think you could tap that source on your own?
No, I
didn't either.
I thought I could, but I didn't know I could. And you know, it's like that story about jumping in the wheelbarrow. It says, "Do you think I can take this wheelbarrow on a tightrope across Niagara Falls?" And you may say, "Yeah, I believe you can do that." Well, then jump in the wheelbarrow. Do you still want to jump in the wheelbarrow? If you really believe I can do that, you'll jump in. You know, well, I didn't believe God was my source enough to jump in the wheelbarrow. I didn't trust Him enough to quit my job when I wanted to, or to do the things I wanted to do instead of the things I felt like I had to do for money.
Well, it didn't change for me until I didn't know I could tap the source. I was always taught I had to have someone tap it for me. I had to have someone who was more knowledgeable of God do it for me. I was told I wasn't worthy enough to touch the source, never mind tap the source. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't even go to the source. I had to go to someone else who could tap the source. So I had to find that I could. Not only that the source was within, but that I could access it without someone else's help.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, it took me a while to understand that God speaks my language too.
Yeah.
Really. It wasn't just that God speaks in a church on Sunday, but God speaks to me when I'm in the shower, or when I'm driving, or God speaks to
When you're
me.
working.
To me, speaks my language. And it's not a language I have to learn, because it's a language God already speaks.
One thing I had to learn too is that God speaks to me, as me, through me.
Through me.
You know, that when I
Yes.
hear the little voice in my head, which I call Cindy, it is sometimes God, or most often God, whispering in my ear. You know, it's not just
What?
me.
Hey, you schmuck.
Yeah, it's not
Oh.
just me. And I can tell the difference when I'm doing negative self-talk. I'm
Sure.
not talking about that. I'm
Sure.
talking about the aligned wisdom that I know Cindy's not capable of. You know what I mean? It comes from something other than just me.
Yeah, no, I know that.
It says I simply have to be aware of the flow. You know that a little too well.
I told you.
I simply have
That's
to be,
when I acknowledge it. Okay, that wasn't me. Yeah, where'd that come from?
I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation of that creative energy. I still believe it's a little bit more than just simply being aware of it. I believe you've got to trust it. You got to know it here. So I think it falls back to that awareness, understanding.
Exactly what I was getting ready to say. Our first ability to tap into it is the awareness.
Right.
And once we become aware, you got to go a step further
Right.
into the understanding. And in
Right.
order to understand it, you know.
So I think he
You
makes
gotta
it a
explore it.
little too easy here.
Well, but
for
I
me.
think his whole point is to get you started.
Yeah.
And that is another reason why we keep repeating them. As we start with the awareness, then we go into the understanding, and then it becomes the knowing. And then
It's not
it becomes
underwear. It's awareness, understanding, not underwear. Sorry.
I'll admit that sometimes my brain runs faster than my tongue. The awareness, understanding, and knowing.
Okay. All right, I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation of that creative energy.
Be aware of your underwear.
Which doesn't have anything to do with the flow.
It might. Okay, that was me. That wasn't.
No spirit in that one.
I don't know. It could have been full spirit. You don't know.
Okay. I simply have to be aware of the flow.
It helps me be aware of the flow.
Radiation of that creative energy, which is continuously, easily, and effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. I'm now aware, I'm now in the flow. What does it mean to be in the flow?
Well, you know, maybe I shouldn't answer that question. All right, what does it mean to be in the flow? I think you know what it means to be in the flow. It's when things are just going. You're not really doing anything. It just things are lining up. You know, you push that one domino and it just falls into place. That is what it feels like when I'm in the flow. When it's effortless on my part, or takes very little
Like he
effort
says.
on my part.
Right, it's continuously, easily, and
Yes.
effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. Are you aware and in the flow now? Because it says you are. It says I am now aware and I am now in the flow.
That's a little personal. Feel free to cut a lot of this out.
I may have to leave it in just to embarrass you.
The belly dancing wasn't embarrassment enough. There are times when I recognize I'm in the flow more than others. And, you know, it's sometimes it's like laying back in a stream. Sometimes I'm aware of the stream, and sometimes I'm not.
Mm.
And sometimes when I'm at ease, I feel like, yeah, I'm aware of the flow, but I'm not aware of it because I'm going with it.
Mm.
If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, a lot of sense.
When I am
when you're in the
laid
flow,
back and
I don't realize I'm
relaxed.
in the flow because I'm so in the flow.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When I'm laid back and relaxed, I'm not aware of the flow. I'm just going with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I find I'm more aware of the flow when I'm trying to get back in it
Mm-hmm.
than when I'm just going with it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, there was a little bit of good stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in that one. And there's a lot in this one, but I think we'll save some of it for next time it comes around.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Stream.